Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa and today I am doing a book tag. This is the Tudor Book Tag. I think the original was done by the Hungry Bookworm, and I am going to kind of take a little bit of a different take on this tag. Just because a lot of it is about nonfiction books, and you guys know that I kind of don't really tend to read nonfiction books. Pretty much everything I've learned about the Tudors I read in historical fiction. So anyway, so the first one is The Reason Henry Had So Many Wives, and that is a biographical book. So for this one, I really want to talk about my first foray into historical fiction. So the first book I ever read in historical fiction was The Other Boleyn Girl by Phillipa Gregory, because I think it was right about the time that the movie was coming out, and I really wanted to read the book because it sounded interesting, and I ended up absolutely loving the book. That was how I fell in love with the Tudor dynasty and became so obsessed with learning all about Henry's wives and, you know, learning about all the political goings on and everything that happened during that time period. So it's not really a biographical book, but it really got me started on that journey. So the next one is Undressing the Tudors. Have you ever read a book about Tudor fashion? I have not. But honestly, I'm kind of obsessed with all the costumes from the Tudors, the actual TV show. I think it was on Showtime or Stars. I don't remember which one. Anyway, I'm kind of obsessed with that, even though I know they're not historically accurate. But oh my god, the costumes on that show. Oh, whew, man, I would kill for some of those dresses. So anyway, no, I haven't ever read a book about Tudor fashion, though I have kind of looked things up as far as like trying to find out what is historically accurate to that time period, and I can kind of understand why they changed it for the show, because historically accurate costumes don't really, I don't know, they don't really appeal to a modern audience. So I understand why they changed it and they modernized it a little bit to make it more appealing. Though, you know, just learning about Henry VIII and his wives is kind of like a big deal anyway. And I'm pretty sure people would have been interested no matter what. So the next one is Dining Together. Have you ever read a book about Tudor food household? If not, is there a book you have seen that you would like to? I think it would be awesome to get like a Tudor cookbook. I think that would be really cool to get, you know, just a cookbook of like some of the things that they ate back then, and you know, because hearing some of the food described in books, it's like, wow, that sounds really good. Some other of the food though, I'm like, that doesn't sound like it would taste very good. But obviously it's like a whole continent away, you know. I'm in the US, that was, you know, England back in the day, and so they already have vastly different food tastes than here in the US, and then, you know, have it be hundreds of years that separate us. It's, yeah, I think it would be interesting, though trying to find modern equivalents of some things would probably be very, very hard. So the next one is Ouch. What is the most gory book or film you have read or seen? I'm assuming this is relating to the fact that, you know, that Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard both were beheaded while, you know, married to Henry VIII. But I don't think beheadings or watching them in TV shows are really all that gory. It's not really ever depicted as that bad. I think probably the worst one was in the Tudors when oh my god, what is that dude's name? Cromwell. When Thomas Cromwell was beheaded, and they, Charles Brandon got the executioner drunk the night before, so the guy was hungover, and he had to like try to chop his head off like 4 or 5 times before he actually got it, and then somebody else had to take over. Like, that was pretty gory and messed up, but, you know. One is Reading Royalty. Have you ever read a book about a peasant or someone who is not a king or a queen? Oh yeah, absolutely. There's been quite a few historical fiction books that fall within the Tudor time period that I've read that don't actually follow any royalty. Of course, the other Boleyn girl follows Mary Boleyn, which is Anne Boleyn's sister. She's not, I mean, she's kind of like married into royalty, but not really. And then there was The Queen's Fool that I read that was following the fool of Mary Tudor. And then there was another one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it follows Will Summers, which is the King's Fool. And then there was one, The King's Mistress or something like that, that followed Henry VII's mistress outside of her life with him, like after she stopped being his mistress. So followed her getting married and having kids and yada yada yada. So I mean, it all like surrounds royalty in the Tudor time period, but it's not really about the actual royals. It's, you know, following the viewpoint of somebody else. So yeah, I've read quite a few books that actually don't follow them, but are still involved. So the last question is Sisters at War. What are your favorite books about Mary and Elizabeth? Do you have a favorite sister? If so, explain. So I've never, I don't know. I'm not going to say I've never enjoyed reading about Mary and Elizabeth. They're just not my favorite to read about. I really am more interested in the wives and following their points of view, specifically Anne Boleyn. I'm not such a big fan of reading about Mary and Elizabeth. The more I've read about them, though, honestly, the more flawed individuals, the more flawed they get in my mind. It's like they both did some pretty gruesome things. Like every monarch has done some pretty gruesome things, some pretty messed up things. They've made mistakes. They've, you know, killed people. They've betrayed people, whatever. So it's just, I kind of become a little disillusioned with Mary and Elizabeth. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Henry VIII because obviously how he treated his wives and how he acted as a king. I like his wives in that they seem a little more innocent to me. I mean, some of them have made mistakes, yes, but they seem a little more innocent to me than the actual royalty. So, all that to say, I'm not really a big fan of Mary and Elizabeth. However, if I have to pick a favorite, of course it is going to be Anne Boleyn's daughter, Elizabeth, because I think she was pretty doomed from the start after what her father did to her mother. I mean, honestly, she grew up a really crappy childhood. She turned out pretty bad just because of who she was. I mean, they don't call her Bloody Mary for no reason. So, yeah, I definitely think it's Elizabeth, and even then, I don't think Elizabeth is the best role model, but, you know, she did some good things as queen, but she did some bad things as queen, so. Anyway, so that is all I have for you on this Tudor book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed my kind of spin on this since I don't really read nonfiction books all that often. So anyway, I will leave all these questions down below along with, of course, the link to the Hungry Bookworms original video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching my video. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday, and I would really love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe my videos. Have a great day.